Alright, what's up guys? My name is Zack, and today I am driving a 1986 Chrysler New Yorker. Up front is a 2.5 liter inline 4, and down below is a 3-speed automatic transmission. Now I am super excited to be driving this New Yorker for two reasons. First of all, this is a very well kept example. I am absolutely over the moon with how well kept this car is. And the second reason is the fact that it still has its voice box that fully works. And the owner has shown me how to put it into demo mode so you get to hear all of the phrases. So we will be talking about that here today. But if you'd like to submit your own vehicle and have it reviewed here on the channel, you can head on over to my website, zackpradel.com/submit. It's a quick and easy submission form. It takes under a minute to fill out, and I come out to you. And if you'd like to see all my videos weeks or sometimes months in advance, you can head on over to my Patreon for only $5 a month. But let's get back to that 2.5 liter inline 4 under the hood. Well, there were two engines available here in 1986. This 2.5 liter that made 100 horsepower, or the 2.2 liter turbo that made 146 horsepower. Not huge numbers out of the LeBaron. However, comparing 146 to just 100 horsepower is quite the barn burner. This is fine. It does the job. I don't have any complaints, but it is what it is. Like I said, paired to a 3-speed automatic, this transmission is what the kids would call problematic. Not very reliable, doesn't do a very good job, and I quite honestly dislike it quite a bit. So, you know, there's that. Last but not least, of course, the K platform is front-wheel drive. How does it feel to drive? Well, it drives okay. I just spent the entire morning driving a bunch of A-bodies, a bunch of Chevy Celebrities actually, and they ride way nicer. This is kind of bouncy, kind of cheapo feeling. Even... Okay, I don't know what happened, but everything's vibrating and shaking all of a sudden. If that's not comedic timing, I don't know what is. Oil pressure's fine. Okay. Okay, I think that noise was the oil. Oh, God. There we go. Okay, that's what the noise was. I just heard a crazy rattling under the hood. Crisis averted. Chrysler averted. That was weird. Let's get back to it. It just feels a little bit junkier than the A-bodies. I'm sorry, but it does. So, you know, there's that. With that stuff out of the way, let's talk about the interior. Well, in front of me, I have completely digital gauges. So off to the left is our Traveler. This is like our distance till empty and things like that. We have digital oil pressure and battery voltage meters, digital speedometer, digital odometer, digital coolant temperature, and digital fuel. Now, this car is also famous for having a voice that will talk to you. When different things are on or if things are happening, it will give you those warnings through voice commands. And so today, this vehicle still has it hooked up, it still works, and I get to show you everything that it'll say. So take a listen.
Your headlights are on. Don't forget your keys. Your washer fluid is low. Your fuel is low. Your electrical system is malfunctioning. Prompt service is required. Your parking brake is on. A door is ajar. Please fasten your seatbelts. Your engine is overheating. Prompt service is required. Your engine oil pressure is low. Prompt service is required. Thank you. All monitored systems are functioning.
But moving back into the cockpit, we do have our crystal in the center of the steering wheel, and off to the left we have a climate control vent, headlight switch, and rear defrost. Moving on to the door, we have our latch to get in and out, power locks, power windows, and power mirrors, as well as this lovely door card. I love this fabric and the buttons and the feeling. This really feels like a sofa couch from the 1980s, so warm and cozy. Love that look. Moving into the center, we do get our radio. Now, this is a radio from 1987. The 1986 one would have been a little bit more chromy, a little bit more silver. The owner just didn't like that, so we got a later model one and put it in here. Similarly, he color matched the temperature and climate controls down below that, and the cigarette lighter is actually out of a Dodge Aries, but all of this K-Car stuff is very similar and plug and play. We do have a storage cubby down below that, as well as a giant storage cubby down at the bottom that actually has a cassette holder. That was an option here in the LeBaron, and the owner has shoved it full of period correct cassettes. So very, very cool to see all of that. We don't have any cup holders, unfortunately, so the LeBaron fails the big friggin' bottle test, but no one here is surprised. And the seats. The seats are wickedly comfortable. They are fantastic. So comfy, so cozy. And again, very couch-like. I'll keep saying that, but it is true. I mean, look at this and look at a sofa from the 80s. That's it. That's exactly what they look like. It's exactly what they feel like. This is before they had a bunch of structural rigidity so you could take corners faster. This is before they put airbags in seats so they wouldn't allow you to smush down in them too much or else it'll set off the airbag. All of that stuff, this is pre all of that. They basically took sofas, bolted them into the floor and said, job done, let's go get lunch. So I love that feeling. However, speaking of seats, we do have back seats. So let's go do a back seat review. All right, getting in the back of the Chrysler New Yorker from 1986. Of course, the red material does carry on back here. Oh, the big freaking bottle's trying to get away. Not today. And look at this. We do have the little opera lights, reading lights. Love to see that stuff. Oh, just look at this. I mean, you can feel this material through the screen. It is just so lovely, so cushy. I mean, look at the amount of cushion that is. Absolutely adorable. So nice back here. What a lovely place to be. Headroom's good. 5'11", not a small guy. I fit back here as well. We do have our power windows. We have our latch to get in and out and a grab handle. So when it is open, you grab this big handle. You can do it with one finger if you want to pull it closed. We also do have, of course, an ashtray, but you open it by twisting this. Very, very interesting. Overall, this is a nice place to be, but definitely not as nice as the cars of the 70s that came before it. You can tell that Chrysler was starting to shrink things, and so you notice it back here. My legs don't have all the room in the world. They're not crammed, but they're not swimming like they were the decade before. So there you go. That's the back seat of an 86 New Yorker, but let's hop into the very back. We'll take a quick look at the trunk and cargo space, and then we'll talk about the looks. All right, we're on the back of the New Yorker, and although it does have the original crystal key, very, very nice to see that. The circle key is for the trunk. So you push this logo over. There should be like a little thing that pops out to hold it open so you can put the threads upward, spin, and open it up like that. Pretty standard trunk for the 1980s, especially for the New Yorker. Pretty spacious, not nearly as spacious as the decade earlier, but still tons and tons of room. I'm not really hurting for it here today in the New Yorker, but there you go. That's what the trunk space of a New Yorker from 86 looks like, in case you were ever curious. Now we gotta talk about the looks, and I've always loved the look. I just think it looks fun, and it's cool to be filming this, honestly, at a school, because I always just feel like every high school movie from the 80s featured a million K-cars in the parking lot, and this is a K-car, technically the E platform, but it's just a stretched K-car. And it just, to me, is like so high school in the 80s, that sort of thing, that sort of style, and I like that. I like the sort of Landau top at the very back. I like the color. It's very 80s color. Just this whole car is so unapologetically 1980s in a single automobile, and I love that. With all of that being said, let's get on to my final thoughts. What do I think driving another Chrysler New Yorker? Well, I've really enjoyed this vehicle. Like I said, the color combo I think is top notch. The features in here are great, and that talking buzzer is just the coolest thing on planet Earth. And finding one that still works is nearly impossible. So basically, in order to make that work, there's a bunch of tiny little connections in this tiny little computer brain under the dash. And those connections corrode, they get wet, they rust, all of these things over the years. And so finding a car that still has this operational is exceedingly hard to do, and this one has it. That is so special. And that was the sort of forward technology that Chrysler was messing with. They wanted your car to talk to you. This is Knight Rider. Imagine watching Knight Rider TV show in the 1980s and then going into your parents' car and having it talk to you. Sure, it doesn't say, "Hello, Michael," but gosh darn it, it's close. And sure, the Chrysler New Yorker is slightly poorly built.
That wasn't very nice of you to say, Zack.
No, I didn't mean anything by it. I'm just saying.
Watch your back when you go home tonight.
They're not the best built. You know, the owner wanted to buy one of these because his parents growing up had one, and it blew up on them, like when they had it as a kid. So they're not very reliable, but what I keep thinking about every time I drive this car is there's like an image out there of like, two parents and two kids are lost at sea. You know, one parent paddles, the other parent entertains the kids. And it's this showing of like, oh, it's equal parts are important. Yes, the person rowing them to safety, but also keeping the kids occupied and stopping them from freaking out is equally important in that scenario. That's how I kind of feel about this. Cars were getting smaller, engines were getting terrible, reliability was starting to go out the window, and yet you look in here and it has cool features. It has wood accenting, it has comfortable seats, it has the New Yorker badge. It is the New Yorker, the prime example of progress and humanity. New York, you know, that sort of thing. And yet it was kind of crappy. Like, the ship was going down, but boy, was the band still playing here in the New Yorker. That's what I love. I absolutely adore this New Yorker, top to bottom, even though it has given me trouble, even though it hasn't been the most reliable. It's special. It has that sort of corner of the mouth smirk that you would expect, and I like that quite a bit. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Huge thank you to Ken for letting me borrow his New Yorker here today. He's been absolutely wonderful. I also reviewed 2 of his Chevy celebrities. We did a comparison contest even with a 3rd Chevy celebrity, so those are out on the channel as well. So please go check them out. Ken has been wonderful, and I'm very, very appreciative. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.